Well, this evening, we are talking about how to change the world for good. However, I would dare to say that not every single person in this room feel that they can change the world. I know when I think about what a daunting task it would be to change the entire world and leave my mark, I stop in my tracks. I'm a little bit at a loss. However, when I shift my framework from a world of 7 billion plus people to the world of one person's reality, it makes it a little bit more manageable. I start thinking about how I can make the world and change the world for good every single day. Heck, I could even think about how every conversation could push someone to a better place. Now, if we can use that framework of changing the world of individual people's realities, why don't we do more of that? Well, I am here to call us out. I'm calling myself out. I'm calling all of you out. Our biggest barrier, ourselves, right here. And I say that because we always tend to fall short in finding our personal greatness. We tend to fall short in putting our best selves forth every single day. Now, you may ask, why is that? How can we do that? It's complacency. We get comfortable, and we don't try to find our best selves every second of every day. Now, it's easy to do, right? Because we are all on this journey of life, and some people like to use the metaphor of their journey of life as a roller coaster, right? Life happens to them. They're just along for the ride. They're going the extreme highs and the extreme lows and the flips, and they take that. However, I would like to use the metaphor of a journey of life as a story that I get to write every single day. A good friend of mine gave my daughter, I have a 20-month-old daughter, a onesie for her to wear on the way home from the hospital. It is of an old-fashioned typewriter and a piece of paper in that old-fashioned typewriter that says, "And so my story begins." It was such an amazing reminder to me that I have the influence on her and her story, but also how I am fortunate to say my story begins a little bit differently every morning because I choose that. I choose to try to figure out how I bring my best self forward and how I can find my own personal greatness. And I want to challenge all of us to think about how do we push past the complacency, because complacency sneaks up on us. All of a sudden it is there, and sometimes we can't even name it, but it is there. How many of you have ever driven to work or walked to class, and you're like, how did I get here? I'm seeing some nods, right? I think about all the times that I leave my house, and then all of a sudden I arrive, and I was like, wow, I don't remember stopping at that stop sign that I really should stop at, or turning my turn signal on to do this. It's because we start going through the motions. Now, our brains are very smart. They help us take tasks that we regularly do and kind of give our minds a break. So we start going through the motions. However, when I start going through the motions, whether it's driving to work or going to the gym or doing simple tasks like emptying the dishwasher, I start wondering, what other things am I missing? What other things, whether it's a conversation or a situation, that deserves my attention, my time, my emotions, my focus? Because that's when I start being complacent and I can miss those opportunities for personal greatness and to find my best self. Now, I hear all the time that as you get older, you get wiser. I also hear that you feel more comfortable in your skin. Now, I'm excited about the being wiser part as I get older and being more comfortable in my skin. However, I think about when you say you're comfortable in your skin, we can't let it be an excuse for stop trying to understand ourselves. Because I know every day I'm an evolving person, as we all are, and my freshman-year-old self is very different than myself today, and how if I didn't continue to work on figuring out what my best self is, I would definitely be stuck in a place of complacency. Now, another way complacency sneaks up on us is fear. Now, we are taught at a very young age that we don't like the word fear, right? We should not use that. You should not be afraid of things. But when you really pull back the curtains and you think about how fear guards that place of complacency, it's quite overwhelming. We don't call it fear. We don't even maybe call it being scared or afraid, but it shows up in different places and really keeps us in that place. When I thought about just this last week, how fear could have kept me in that place of complacency, I literally was shocked. I didn't want to go running with a friend because I didn't want her to have to run slower for me. I debated whether I should get my hair cut for locks of love because I might look silly with short hair. I did not want to try that food because I might not like it. I was scared of giving a talk because I might not connect with people. So think about how complacency and that fear can really push us into that place of complacency. And it's hard to break free. It's hard to recognize it, but it's also hard to break free. The last thing I would say about complacency is oftentimes we become comfortable in our discomfort. I want us to think about that. We become comfortable in our discomfort. Are there things in your life, whether it's relationships or things at work or situations, where you're slightly uncomfortable? There's some discomfort in it. But it is easier to go through the motions or settle into a routine than to question and have courage to say, you know what, I really wanted to talk about this. We become comfortable in that discomfort. And that is another way complacency shows up. The last Summer Olympics in 2012 in London, Nike had an ad campaign. And it showed ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Some of my favorite clips included a very courageous little boy jumping off a very tall high dive. Another one showed a girl doing a handstand on two arms of a chair while watching TV. Another one showed a group of guys just riding their bicycle, and then all of a sudden one of them flipped up and started doing different types of acrobatics on his handlebars. I think about how those clips inspired people to really think about how they can find their personal greatness, that we all have that unique gift to give people. We can show up as our best selves and then change the world for good. Because if we're in a place that our personal greatness shines, it's like a ripple effect. And then you are starting to make a difference in if it's one person's life or the 7 billion plus I had mentioned. So if we can get past that fear, past going through the motions, we can find our personal greatness. Because as the Nike ad campaign said, one of the voiceovers said, that it's not some rare DNA strand. It's not for a chosen few. Greatness is inside each and every one of us. Because the world needs us to find our greatness and our best selves. Because we have a lot of world to change, whether it's one person's world or 7+ billion. The world needs us. So let's get started. Thank you.